Hey there, welcome to NZ Money Karma, where you can find freedom from the daily grind through budgeting, simple living and adventure. Well, today's video is, I guess, a simple living, frugal living kind of style, and it's all born from a little bit of a kerfuffle / argument I had last night with my family. When people go to the cupboards, go to the fridge, go to the pantry, look in the garden and tell me there is nothing to eat around here. This came from actually us having, my husband and I having a bit of an argument because he was going to cook dinner, and then he was like, oh, but there's no potatoes. But we did have kuma, we did have pumpkin, and we did have yams, all from the garden. And it's like, no, there's no potatoes, but there is some other kind of root vegetables, or, pumpkin can also be used instead of a potato on the side of a dish. It's just like, I just don't want to do all the thinking. It's driving me mental. But then, there's always an opportunity in amongst adversity. So I was like, okay, that's fine. I will write a list. I will get a plan together. We're not going to the supermarket early. That puts our budget under pressure. There is plenty to eat in this house. We just have to look for it. It's not ready-made. So you can see here, I've gone out to have a look in the freezer, and there's not tons of stuff. It's pretty empty. In there is a couple of bits of sandwich meat, and there's buns. That's it. This is our store cupboard. Sorry, it's a bit wobbly. There's some preserves, a few tins of fruit, old marmalade up there that really does need to be eaten. I did hear of a nice recipe from Frugal Queen in France about marmalade-based sweet and sour sauce, so I'm going to give that a go. You can see I've got a bit of tuna, some crackers, jellies, coconut cream, some soup mixes. No one really likes those though. And in there I've just got some extra baking supplies, creamed corn, haven't got a lot of tinned food, and some wheat bix, and I had topped that up at our last grocery shop, so we've got quite a lot of macaroni / pasta kind of style things. So when I look at our cupboards, I'm like, gosh, there's heaps of things to eat here, and sometimes I find it frustrating that other people aren't seeing the same. And again, in the fridge, like, you have a look in here, it looks completely bare. And that's what my family see. They look in it and they say it's bare. But it's just what it doesn't have is ready-to-go things. So in each of those containers is soup, or I've got a big one there of chicken stock. I've got some frozen pasta that was just left over. I've already done a few things there. There's some toasted sandwiches ready to go. There's some biscuits already baked. And that's just dog food down there. Oh, and there's one bun there. But there's enough buns for lunches, so I'm not worried about that. I realised, though, that I needed to go and get a lettuce, and I also needed some milk. So I went and did that and spent $7.79. I grated all the cheese that was in our fridge just to make it stretch further so no one's cutting off big hunks. It's already there. And the stuff I wanted for dinners, I put aside. The first thing I made was Saturday lunch, and I made cheese and onion scones. They're pretty hefty, like they're quite big scones, aren't they? So that was enough for all of us. There's, I guess, 9 scones in total. And I made that butter / spread. It's spreadable butter. And I got that recipe from Farmer's Wife Homestead. And just I did adapt it just a tiny bit. And really the aim was just to have a look and go, okay, can I make this butter go further than what it was? Then for a little sweet treat, I made some homemade chocolate. It didn't turn out perfectly though. You can see it's sticking together. Some of the honey didn't set. So I just sprinkled some coconut on the top. But that was nice. It's nice just to have something that's sweet. And then for dinner we had a dal with homemade naan and rice. Then Sunday it was a matter of just everyone fends for themselves for breakfast. We had a really late lunch because we were out doing something together. Came home, quickly whipped up this soup, pumpkin soup, with a little bit of sour cream. And then in the afternoon did some baking. So it was biscuits and some banana muffins because I had a few old bananas sitting in the freezer. And then for dinner on Sunday night, we just had a really quick macaroni and cheese that has some sandwich meat inside it, and also some frozen peas that were in the freezer. And then for Monday, we've just got, regular school lunches. So a couple of buns with salad and salami, a couple of biscuits, and also an apple or a piece of fruit if they want. And then for afternoon tea, the kids come home and I have made a chocolate cake. We ate half of that on Monday afternoon, and then that leaves another half to put into lunches or have the next day. And for dinner on Monday night, we had these enchiladas with salad. So first of all, I have to make the tortillas. That's super easy. It's a couple of cups of flour with a tiny amount of water, just enough to kind of make a dough. Put them into balls, and then roll them out into tortillas. And then for the filling, it's got pumpkin, like moules pumpkin, because the pumpkin we used previously was absolutely huge. So we had 3/4 of a pumpkin left after making the pumpkin soup. So I used another quarter to make the inside filling. I did some brown lentils, mixed those together, and in the fridge we had some leftover sauces. So there was a bit of barbecue sauce, there was a bit of tomato paste, and I just popped it all in there together and kind of mix it all up. And that gives it was a really yummy, creamy, nice filling. And then we had lots of cheese. The cheese has gone a really long way by grating it all up. We have not run out of cheese, which has been amazing, considering we didn't have that much left and we had quite a few days to get through. So plenty of cheese sprinkled on top. And for the people that were really hungry, like my husband and son, I served that on a bed of rice, then with salad on the side. And for my daughter and I, we just have the enchiladas without any rice and then just a bit of salad. It was really yum. You can also see on top of that salad. So this is the salad that is in the fridge for the kids' school lunches. So I remade another salad so they have more of that. But there's a little bit of mayonnaise on the top. I just made some mayonnaise. It's really easy as well. That's just oil, a bit of mustard powder, an egg, and I also add a little bit of garlic so it becomes a bit more like an aioli kind of mayonnaise. But really, really tasty. So that was Monday. And then for Tuesday, so again, people are fending for themselves for breakfast. I actually think this morning they had pancakes. I was at work, so I didn't have any. I had some oats. That's what I took to work. For afternoon, they pack their own lunch, of course, which I've given you an example of. And for afternoon tea, I had made mayonnaise the night before. I told you that. I added a small tin of tuna and put it through the whiz, so it was like a tuna mayo. So those were rice crackers for afternoon tea with tuna mayo and a bit of salad on top. So a little bit of protein because tonight's dinner is doesn't have any meat or lentils in it at all. And then finally dinner, Tuesday night, I've done it. Tomorrow is going to be groceries, and I'm really excited to be, have a few easier options so I don't have to use my head so much to kind of dig out the back of the pantry. But I have done it because you'll remember this all started by people opening the pantry and saying, we've got nothing to eat. And I've shown you over the last 4 days, we had plenty to eat. I'm no great shakes in the kitchen, so please don't judge my cooking. I'm certainly not here to do cooking videos by any stretch of the imagination, just simply to show how you can make, what you have work, even when it looks like you don't have much at all. So this here, my last dinner, my Tuesday night dinner, is just a creamy risotto using up the last of the cheese that I had grated because I'm going supermarket shopping tomorrow, so I know I don't need any more cheese because I'm going to replenish the stocks tomorrow. It's using 1/4 of a pumpkin again, so I still have 1/4 left to use up from the pumpkin I chopped up 4 days ago. So we've got a cheesy risotto with pumpkin. There is actually another version of this that was served up and that also had peas in it. But the person that I was serving this to that I fed first didn't like peas, so that's why it's sans peas. So that's it for me. That's everything we basically ate. There are nuts and seeds and stuff like that, but I don't know how much, anyone else is putting their hands in those jars at all. These are the main meals. This is how I fed my whānau over the last 4 days, even when they were complaining that there was nothing at all to eat. So grocery day tomorrow. I'm going to do a video about that, so please join me for that. Otherwise, I hope you guys are keeping well, keeping warm, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.